just give a little background to what we are doing today. This is part of Girls for Girls, and all year round we run different sessions in different areas. So the motivation is after ladies have left Girls for Girls, the mentorship program, we need to find ways to be able to add value to them. And we add value in different areas. For example, we have a book club, we have other sessions like fireside chats we do through the year. And then we also do the Women Entrepreneurs Forum. So the Women Entrepreneurs Forum was started 3 years ago. And I'm happy that we've come a long, long way in the last 3 years. And one of the things we do is try to add value in terms of doing different sessions through the year. So this year we've done one session a month for the last 12 months, this being the last session. So some of the sessions have been physical. We've done everything from finance to digital marketing to different topics, basically. So for you as a business owner or someone who is managing people, you're able to manage every single part of your business. That's the goal. And during those sessions, we usually bring different people. This year, it is Shamim's second time to be here. And the first time we could not leave because she had so many nuggets, so many things. And then people asked so many questions. So she's back again. But this time we're going to talk about something different. So we are going to be talking about in our organizations as we are managing people, whether as a business owner or if you are in HR, how can you keep employees engaged? And one of the ways and what Shamim loves most is really talking about offline and online methods. Online methods are basically different kinds of tools. So at the end, I'm going to take you through some tools that you can actually implement in your business, which are not expensive, which are usable, which are interesting to use. But Shamim is the expert. She loves digital. She likes working with digital. And she's here today to support us on that. And Shamim, over to you. And just before I give over to Shamim, she's a super mentor at Girls for Girls. That's one thing you should know. She may not make so much noise on the groups. Okay, she tries. Thank you very much, Shamim. You really try to like keep people engaged, and I love that. And anyone here from the HR alumni. So that is one of the things we've tried to do this year is as much as we have HR people in the main alumni group, we've tried to separate them so that they're in one group together. And I hope in that group, they're going to be able to share with each other and be able to develop each other as HR professionals. So that they can have a place where they can go and ask questions to people who can actually understand them. So right now, Shamim is the Vice President of the HR MAU. She will tell us more about it. So if you're an HR person here who is not part of it, she'll have to tell us. Then she's an HR specialist with expertise in HR systems automation, policy strategy implementation, talent acquisition, learning and development, performance management, diversity and inclusion, among others. She's a certified recruitment and selection specialist and holds certificates in strategic HR management, training of trainers from UMI, among others. She also holds an MBA in HR management, and her career has revolved around supporting HR practitioners and top HR consultancy firms such as NFT, Q-Sourcing, Subtech Group, and Aldelia Global Manpower. So you're welcome, Shamim. And I'm sure you also do a lot of consulting work. So after we have these conversations today, the people in the group know where to go to be able to get that support they need in the organization. Sometimes when our organizations are growing, like most of them that we are in, they cannot afford full-time HR people. But it's good for them to know that they can actually call you, you can help with policy, you can advise, you can help with recruitment, and then you can come back the next time they need you. So thank you so much, and over to you, Shamim.
All right, thank you very much, Primera, for the wonderful introduction. The ladies, and I believe they should be gentlemen, I think the call is open to all. You are all most welcome. This is our opportunity to engage, to learn from each other. I would love it to be as collaborative as possible, an opportunity for us to exchange ideas and to get to benefit from the time that we're going to spend here. So just like Primera mentioned, my name is Shamim Walusimbi, Naragalansuga. I love G4G. G4G has really changed my life personally. I have plenty of testimonies of how I've benefited from many of these talks, and it's an honor to be called to be one of the speakers, particularly for this topic. So a little bit about what we're going to engage in. What we're talking about is engagement. Engagement is really how best can we create that enthusiastic workplace. How can we stop people from thinking on that Sunday night that, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to work tomorrow. Why do I have to wake up and go to work? Why do I have to suffer? We want to change that mindset completely. We want to change the mentality of workplaces to be from a stress environment, something that is going to affect my mental well-being, to an enthusiastic place, a place where people would want to actually go to, a place where people would feel excited to be a part of. And the truth is, there are some things that are actually in our control. Some things that you believe that all management is not doing their best. I have no say in this. But at whichever level you are, whether you are a business owner, whether you are an employee, whether you are a manager, any kind of level you have influence. And what we're going to dig deep into is how you can leverage on that influence to make it an enthusiastic workplace. We're also going to talk about how to combine technology as well as the different HR strategies that are available to us. We never know that anything that can automate or can make things easier for us should be adopted at the earliest, just to prevent you from getting burnt out. Honestly, if we speak about workplaces, the one thing that kills productivity and engagement is burnout. When you already have that mental block that whatever effort I'm putting, it's not being recognized, then eventually your mind tells you that, you know what, you're putting in too much and you cannot go further than this. That's why people end up getting mental breakdowns. That's how you see people saying, I can't go another day to this office. That's when you see people just disengaged completely and searching for jobs. My full-time role, I'm a recruitment consultant with Aldelia, but I do serve on the HR Managers Association of Uganda as the vice president. So basically, my entire network is mostly made up of either supporting human resource professionals or people who are actually in that state of, I need a change, I need something new to do, I need a job, I need something that will keep me engaged, something that will help me to grow, something that will benefit me as an individual. So I do get these queries all the time, and this is a great opportunity for us to discuss as a team on what approaches that we can use to keep the employees engaged, how we can leverage on technology, how we can automate once in a while, and how we can basically make our environments better. So I'm going to share a matrix that is really commonly used. Just a moment. So what you see here is the employee engagement and well-being framework. Primera, can you confirm that you can see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so basically, we're looking at how we can enhance employee well-being, as well as looking at the level of engagement. At times, if you look at people who are low engaged, who don't have enthusiasm, the truth is it is something that is contagious. If you see one person feeling that way, it's very common that within the next few months or even weeks, two more people will be feeling the same way, not because they hate what they are doing, but because of the energy that comes out of it. It really affects the normal functioning, it affects productivity, and it affects the way that you expect your workplace to be like. If you're a business owner, the last thing you want is to have a high turnover, meaning you hire people, you spend a lot of time, a lot of energy bringing people into the organization. Next thing you know, they're leaving. The worst thing you want is to spend a lot of money on training, because this is something that most human resource professionals and business owners are afraid of. I'm going to hire you. I'm going to spend time training you. And then within just a few months, 2 months or so, I'll see a resignation letter from you. It's very frustrating. The fact that by the time you hired, you believe that this person is going to be valuable to your organization. But unfortunately, they're just like the rest. You have that mentality that these people are just like the rest. They're going to come and disappoint you. So it ends up giving a bitter taste to those who are in the employment field. You end up having trust issues. You get onto a short list and you keep saying you're too critical, but this person looks like they're going to disappoint me. Why did they spend such a short time here? Maybe they need too much attention, engagement. So what we're going to talk about is how to move by ourselves from that section of distressed and disengaged to going to happy and flourishing. So in order to get to that level, we need to understand what are the key areas, what are the key motivators. One thing that I can share with you is that if you automate and use different tools, you will definitely make your work shorter and much easier. The first I can say is employee engagement platforms. Usually people are afraid to get feedback because the one thing that you don't want as a business owner is to put in money and effort to give your employees all the benefits. I'm giving you salary, I'm giving you airtime, I'm giving you transport allowance, maybe even lunch allowance, insurance for you, your family. But still you come to work and say, I'm bored. I heard that at one of our HR conferences. One person just came up and said to their boss, I'm bored. So AKA that means that they were feeling disengaged. They wanted to leave. They wanted vibes, as the next generation calls it. So sometimes as business owners, as leaders, as professionals, we are afraid to get the opportunity to get this feedback firsthand from the employees. But the faster way to get this is through getting a platform that actually works. If you can use technology to gather this information, the feedback, you create that space for collaboration amongst people. Once you send that form, I'm sending an employee engagement platform for you to fill. This can be sent through Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, Slack, any kind of employee engagement software, just to have that sense of, okay, you're hearing from me. As a business owner or as a leader, the first thing that will worry you is that, oh my God, I might receive so much feedback and it will be very hard for me to actually deliver. But you're wrong. The mentality is if you take your time to hear from me. Then there's some hope. The employees will have a little bit of hope that, you know what, I'm being listened to, and what I'm submitting is going to be discussed. It is likely to be put into consideration. So that's the very first thing that you'd like to do. Create that platform and disseminate it. The next thing I'd like to talk about is those communication tools. Right now, the future of work is really hybrid. We have some people who are working both remotely and from the office. Of course, the trend is most people want to just go back to the office. They want their employees to be fully in the office. And the main reason is they want to enhance the engagement of the employees. But in case it really depends on how your business is run, I understand there are some businesses that can't afford to have people out, let's say manufacturing, or those that do not deal with emails and phone calls. So if your business is set up like that, or if your company or your employer is set up like that, it might be difficult for the flexibility part to come through. But one thing is for sure, communication has to be efficient and effective. So if we're to leverage on different kinds of tools that support in the communication, you just have to make sure, one, it's transparent as well as efficient. Sometimes people take forever to hear company news, updates, events, and the next thing you know, it's just rumors. Things going in corridors, people whispering, saying that I hear this, I hear that. So if you're in a position of influence and power, you can actually use different communication tools to ensure that people receive the same message at the same time. The easiest is email. Just send email, make sure people are aware. We have newsletters, we have different company notifications. For example, at where I work full time, Aldelia, it's a global company. So we report to people in different countries. So once a month, we have an afternoon tea. It's an online Teams meeting, but we call it afternoon tea with our CEO. It's the human resource department that organizes this. But every time we actually anticipate it, we would like to hear, what does the CEO have to say? How are we actually performing as a company? What does the future look like? Are we able to ask questions? So if you have an opportunity to have that either physically or virtually, please don't shy away from that opportunity, because once people are communicated to in a single way, it really reduces the risk of rumors, of people feeling that they're not equal. Maybe this person can easily walk to the leader, to the manager. You don't have an open door policy, so I don't have access to the leader. I can't even ask any question. If I ask a question, I might risk losing my job. So all those are challenges that people psychologically go through, and it really demoralizes them, and eventually they mentally zone off. They quiet quit, as they say. Quiet quitting is when someone is totally out of the office. They're not working with you anymore, but they're physically coming to the office. They're just waiting for someone else to send them an offer letter, and off they will go. So communication is very, very key. So next thing I want to talk about is the different work arrangements that are available. One thing I can talk about is the way that we have evolved, which I'll share right now as well. So if we talk about how we have evolved in terms of the Industrial Revolution, we started from the first Industrial Revolution. That was in all the way in 1750. I don't know if any one of us who are born then, if you are born then, please raise your hand, but I highly doubt. So during that time, people are just trying to learn how to use different tools to be more efficient. We had coal, transport, steam power, wage labor, just trying to make things work faster. Then the second industrial revolution was in 1870 to 1945. That's when we got introduced to electricity, radio and TV, science and technology, air travel, automotive. People thought that that is now the future, that is where it's going to stop at the moment. Because these innovations were really mind blowing. And we thought, okay, now work is going to be easier. Next thing you know, 1945 to 1999, the third industrial revolution. This is when we got introduced to the information age. Internet was there, small businesses, crowdsourcing. That's when we even got introduced to the mobile phones. You get to communicate easily with someone across the world. So during this period, I'm sure at least most of us were born within that period. During this period, people were excited. People had hope. People knew that, you know what, if I get a job and I'm able to utilize these skills and these competencies, there's no way that I'm going to leave this job. I'm going to work my heart out and I'm going to make sure that I deliver and I retire in peace. But when you talk about what we're going through today, today we are going through the fourth industrial revolution. And honestly, it's just getting faster, more efficient, better. And to some people, it's scary. So right now, the reason why I'm enabling us to open our minds to the trajectory is we need to be prepared and we need to make sure we utilize the skills that we're getting to be able to advance our own careers, our own businesses, our lives. So the fourth industrial revolution that we're on, artificial intelligence is taking over. We see different robots that are making work easier for us, flexible specifications, new business models, cyber physical systems. Basically, things are getting faster, things are getting more automated. And what does that mean for us? People are scared. People are less and less engaged because one moment they're doing all the work, the next moment they're bringing a system to automate all the things that they were doing, every single thing that they were doing. So why is it scary for us? Why can't we prepare for this future, this newfound future? And why can't we adapt to it? So if we're to relieve employees from having that fear of this robot is going to take my job, this tool is going to affect the way I do my work, first of all, it's a mindset change and a behavioral change. So if we can incorporate all this information that we're getting, all the newest tools, artificial intelligence, if we can learn how to use it, because there's no artificial intelligence tool that does not need a user. It cannot operate without someone who knows how to operate it. They haven't yet introduced that. And the last thing that you want is to get someone who doesn't know how to use it and then they completely ruin it. So this is something that we can learn if we integrate technology to support all our work arrangements. This is inclusive of remote working, the video conferencing tools. Right now we're using we're using Zoom. We all know that before COVID, Zoom was, you'd practically beg someone. I recall when I had just been elected as an executive committee member, in one of the HR fraternity groups. There was a time when we could not meet physically. We tried, everyone was either busy at a particular time, or there was a challenge one way or another, distance, etc. At that time, I really requested, let me create a link, because during my high school, my university life, I spent it in Malaysia. So I was exposed to this. I was already used to the fast pace, and you cannot miss a meeting just because of distance. It was easy for me to understand that you just have to create a link, people click the link, and you'll be engaging with them. You'll be able to communicate. But the mindset was a bit fixed on, I need to see you, I need to read your body language, I need to feel you. You might not be listening to me. So now that we have adapted, we actually, thank God, some things happen for a reason. So right now, we have the ability to utilize video conferencing tools or the virtual meeting opportunities to ensure that we can create that engagement. So if we can still incorporate that, whatever we're learning, be it the artificial intelligence tools, it needs someone to express their creativity. Please enable the employees to explore, to see how best to learn how to use these tools. If you learn something, I can record minutes using Teams. I can transcribe. Even someone who has a disability can follow a meeting. You don't have to leave them out, because I'm very particular about inclusion. So all these new adaptations can actually help people feel included, help people to feel connected and engaged. So this brings me to the next, learning and development. In short, it's L&D for the HR people. So basically, we are in a world where we need to continuously learn. We have to stay hungry. We have to know that this is not where it stops. Things are only going to move faster. And if we don't adapt, we will die. You're either growing or you're dying. So just enable yourself to grow. I'm very proud, particularly, of this group of people that have dialed in, because it shows that, yes, it's December, festive season. Most of people have zoned out. We have our minds on Christmas, the New Year is coming. Oh, we're just tired. We're like, I'm tired of learning. But the people that have joined this call are going to leave when they have benefited something. One thing that I've learned through my experience, because people keep asking, how is it possible that you've been able to fast track your career? This is what people see. And of course, it's very hard to see a picture when you are in the frame. So when someone tells me that, I take a moment to reflect. And the one thing I can reflect on how I was able to learn the things I know right now, and the ability to grow to what I've become right now, is through people. The fastest way that I learned, one is through networking, engaging with other people. People would like to learn something new, and sometimes they don't have the funds to go back for further studies. Sometimes they just want an idea, something that will spark them to now read further and research further. So, ladies and gentlemen, those who are on the call right now, I believe this is your spark. This is your spark to enable you to now research, open your mind, look out for different opportunities to learn more. This might not be the exact answer you're looking for, but it's going to open your mind and say, you know what? Learning and development is part and parcel of my life. I am in control of it. I'm not going to wait for someone to issue a training for me. I'm not going to wait for someone to ask me what I need to learn, but I'm going to make it a commitment to my own personal growth. There are also other platforms like LinkedIn, Udemy, Coursera. They have a variety of short courses. I collaborate occasionally with Unicaf University. They actually offered me an opportunity to have my PhD studies there on a partial scholarship, so I'm still registering for it. But this just shows that you have the opportunity to learn. And without this knowledge, people want it will not bring credibility to you. If someone asks you a question and they know the answer, they just want to see how intelligent you are. And you totally say the wrongest, like you answer a completely different question. The last thing that they'll think is this person is someone I would want in my network. They would second guess and either want to put you under their wing, just like G4G. G4G is very generous. It actually receives people who need this support. And under the project wing, we learn together and we grow together. But there'll be some people who are judgmental, and that's the majority. If you don't know something and they expect you to know, they won't give you opportunities. That's the same thing that we as recruiters go through. It's actually our full-time job to look out for the best of the best. And unfortunately, those who are not the best have to wait for their turn, and they have to keep going to learn, getting exposed. So the way I fast tracked it, something that you could consider as well, is through the acquired knowledge from your network. G4G network has really helped me grow. People feel like they're already connected, even if I've never met you, but you just mentioned that you're in G4G, and then you tell me a story. That's the power of storytelling. Like, this time I had this issue with this employee, this is what I did. The next time I have an issue like that, or I get someone else having the same issue, I'll instantly give them the solution through someone else's experience. So networks, learning on your own, going for such webinars, be hungry. Be hungry for this knowledge. So the next will be performance management software. At times it's important to make sure that you are in charge of your performance management. At times people just sit back and wait and say, you know what, let me do my work. I don't care. Then it comes to the time when you have to be appraised or you have to appraise someone. And that's where employees really feel that, how could I have put in all these hours? How could I have put in all this effort? And they just score me zero. Like, people are not seeing that I'm leaving work late. I'm always the first one here. I always spend extra hours on weekends doing work. So the easiest way to fast track it, and this is a methodology that I use with my team. I lead a team of recruiters as well. So one of the things that you should do is, first of all, understand those targets that are given to you or that you're giving, depending on which level you are. Understand them. If you're in the position of a manager or a leader, business owner, just try your best to make people understand the targets. If you get this is the score. If you achieve this, and it should be measurable. So that is something that supports people to have that self-drive, because they know every single day you wake up, you have a target. Every day you're doing your work, you have a target. For some reason, it will self-motivate you, keep you engaged, knowing that if I can get that mark, that score, at least I'll get recognition. One of the things that I researched for my master's degree, one of the things that stood out for my thesis was which is the best form of compensation for someone to keep someone engaged. Upon my research, I found out that it's recognition. Recognition takes precedence over compensation, which is the salary you get, and benefits. It was a shocking discovery to me because I always had that assumption that people are working for money. People are working for a place that has good benefits. But upon the research I did, most people were saying, I just want to be recognized. Even if someone is giving me peanuts, let me have that certificate of recognition for my hard work. Let me show that I'm doing something. Let me be posted on the notice board for my efforts. So one of the ways that you can get this recognition, you might not get a raise, you might not get maybe more benefits, whatever you desire, you might not get it. But one thing is for sure, when you are moving on with your life, they will either rate you on your performance or your behavior. So one thing you should look at is, how can I meet these targets? How can I exceed these targets? What do I have to do? You will feel engaged the whole time. You will even forget that, okay, I'm working, but I'm getting peanuts, because people around you are watching. You never know, someone out there is seeing, okay, this person would actually do well in my own organization. That's if you're in the job market. People recommend you. People see your abilities, and you won't even have to say too much. At least that's how those are some of the ways that I've been able to utilize my potential to advance. Just show what you can do. Don't be afraid to just give it your all. People are watching. So the second last thing that I'll share is the recognition and rewards programs. At times, just like I mentioned, people just want to be recognized. But if you can make it as transparent as possible, we have awards, we have people who do well. I just recently saw a colleague of mine called Michael. He got a certificate for just being one of the employees in the organization that keeps people motivated. So I kept wondering, wow, this is a nice award, and this person actually deserves it, because the time that I worked with him, he actually did keep checking, have you done this? For a moment, you feel like this person is micromanaging me, or I'm stressed, but you wouldn't have gone as far as you did if it wasn't for that initial support. So you think of how you can recognize, even you as a colleague, you can recognize a person you're working alongside with, and the person will recognize you too eventually. People feel valued when you just say, by the way, I liked that email you sent, it was well drafted, or I liked how you handled this position or handled this situation. Just that simple word can boost morale, can boost motivation. So lastly, if we're to talk about wellness programs, team building opportunities, employee assistance programs, I'm going to batch them all together, because this is one of the methods that people actually, they feel like it works. There's a category that feels like it's temporary. Let's say I'll go for a team building activity, and then it will just, the feeling will just last for a few minutes or a few days, and I'll be back to the stress. But believe me, just try. Just try to first of all change your mindset that my wellness, my happiness, my motivation does not come from outside, it comes from within. So some people use apps for wellness. I've also done some collaboration with Nella. Nella Organics is an organization that deals with wellness, and their niche is employee wellness. So they have an app whereby you can follow the instructions. There's a nutrition part of it, exercise part of it, something long-term, sustainable. So as a business owner or a leader, manager, if you have the opportunity to look out for such organizations that provide this self-help. Like I can just download the app myself and I track my own progress. We have so many people who post on their status, today I ran these kilometers, today I did this. Someone owns their wellness. So all you have to do is just introduce it and encourage it. Even if they have to do it themselves, download it themselves, sit in the meeting and say, let's all do this together. Let's all download and then we compare. Every week we see how much we all worked. Every week we see what we ate, how we improved our diet. Eventually you do it together and you find how fulfilling it is to win together. The last thing you want is just to judge someone. You see them doing something wrong, something that is going to affect their health, and you just judge them. You're like, look at that one, then have self-awareness. I've had people talking about that, like they pity someone and say they can't respect themselves. No, that's not the way you should do it. Everything that you give, you receive. So whenever you help someone else, God will see it and understand that, okay, this person deserves to be helped as well. And it will come back to you somehow. So let's remove that mindset of judging, competing, and have that servant heart to benefit people around you such that it will come back. It will come back in one way or another, in a different form, perhaps. So, about that team building, people have actually utilized technology to create such virtual team building activities. For example, in where I work full time, Aldelia, we're going to have a virtual Christmas party. I'm excited to see how it's going to pan out. It's going to be really my first encounter. But of course, people will feel, I wish it was physical. I wish. But it's better than nothing. Even at the HRMAU, I'm part of a governing council. I lead a team as the vice president. And indeed, we're going to have a virtual meeting this evening. And I still feel as excited as I would feel meeting them physically. I'll still log in on time. I'll still engage with the people. The best thing to be is early, such that you use those first minutes to engage. That's one of the ways that I've also been able to gain at least friends, colleagues within the network. You just come a bit early and use the opportunity to engage, because that's when random conversations happen. That's when you hear how someone is really doing. If they're having challenges, then they explain how they fixed them, and then you're learning. There's one time just a few weeks ago, we had an HR reveal award ceremony, and as the committee, we had to stay back. Personally, people were wondering, how can you stay for so long? Because at the time I'm pregnant actually. So they were seeing, they had that assumption that someone who is in such a condition would actually prefer to leave early, get enough rest. But for some reason, the value of networking is deeply embedded in me, that I know that as long as all that health checks pan out, and as long as I can physically engage with people, I will be there. So after everyone had left, the people who organized the event stayed. They stayed until around 11, and I stayed there with them. People were dancing, people were happy. They were so excited that the event had been successful. And that's the opportunity where people bonded the most, more than all the other days, because it was a 3-day event. So those opportunities, when you get to build yourself with a team, if you're to go out for a party, for the Uganda team at Aldelia, we're going to have a lunch together tomorrow. So it's just something that, even if as long as I'm not in the hospital in labor, I will be there. I will drive all there from home, be there, engage. It's not even about the food, it's about the anticipation of the conversation. What am I going to learn from these people? How am I going to bond with them? And how am I going to utilize that bond in the next year or in the next phase of my career? Just that single conversation can actually help you get recommended for something or to enable you to grow, to get a promotion. Someone can be like, at that party, he or she actually told me that they have this skill. Maybe we should consider them for this. So don't leave out opportunities for team building, employee assistance programs, anything that will enable people to burn their stress, even if it will come back tomorrow, you put on a different hat. I want the results. Where is this? Where is that? They will still remember those moments when you were at least loose. You had let loose a bit as long as you behave. Because remember, the two things that people will remember about you is one, your performance, and two, your behavior. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, Primera. I'm available in case of any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shamim. And thank you so much for taking us through. So for those who came later, I had promised to share some tools that we can actually use. So Shamim took us through the different areas in HR. For me, I am not HR. For me, I am tech, and technology is my home, and I love to share. So I have collaborated with Shamim. At some point, you have sent me HR people. Thank you so much. You send me HR people who need tools to use, and I've had interesting conversations with them. And I'm going to share something on my screen. So we have tools in all areas in our business. We have finance, office suite, email, collaboration. We also do custom solutions, IT, sales and marketing tools. So we have loads of tools, almost 55 different tools. And in HR, we have people tool, which we love most. And in this tool, it has, okay, tools we have are people tools, we have recruit. The recruit is for business or people who are in HR and all their work they do majorly is recruitment. It is not basically, you're not in an organization as an HR person, but you have majorly a recruitment firm. You can have recruit software. Then we have shifts. Shift software is basically helping you, especially if you have employees like in a call center, you have employees in the construction ecosystem, just where they're actually using Shift, you can be able to track them. And then we have the people software, which I'll just go into detail a bit what it has. The people software has a leave tracker. And I have talked to some business owners recently, and you find someone has over 100 employees, they have 80 employees, and they don't have a leave tracker. So I'm not sure how you and the person was like, I track them from my head, something like that. Then attendance, then Shamim has also taken us through performance. It is important. We have our KPIs, how are we tracking those? Then the tool is also able to keep files. Files are in different categories. There is the files that belong to the HR team. So instead of operating outside of a digital ecosystem, you can actually have shared files online. For example, if I want to write an onboarding letter to an employee, I can create drafts. You go to maybe your legal team and they generate for you the very first drafts and you keep all the drafts online. So if you have a new employee who's you're onboarding, you're able to send them an onboarding letter, acceptance letters. They can all be sent online for them to even digitally sign. They don't have to like manually sign them. And then you can manage travel if anyone is moving around. You can also track compensation. And you can also create an announcements channel for those employees, like Shamim said, you can use tools to be able to have communication in one place. She also gave an example with Slack. I love Slack a lot. Especially, I think Shamim, the next session we should have is on AI specifically, because now the tools we are having, most of them we are now embedding them with AI tools, especially for HR people to be able to understand if someone is working from home. on Monday morning, how do I know that my staff is actually working where they are? So it allows, like Slack allows you to prompt and ask employees like, good morning, Primera, what are you working on today? And then it will wait for a response from me. And if I have not given it a response yet, it will keep reminding me until I give that response. So it's basically about working smart and ensuring that as HR people or people managing other people, that we are able to work smart. Okay? Then this one also has LMS, which is a learning management system. And then it has an employee engagement section. You can be able to pull all your HR letters in one place, and you're able to do onboarding. And then it also can connect to billing systems. It can connect to a finance system for you to be able to make sure that all your entries are in one place. Then we also have another tool that can do four things majorly, which is the talent acquisition from candidate sourcing. Last session we had with Shamim, she was telling us about such tools where you send out a job advert, but the tool itself is going to sort out the employees it's going to do the first level sorting. It's not going to, as long as you've given it certain parameters, it's not going to allow to sieve those CVs, and then that gives you less work to be able to sort. That means you're not sorting through everything. Then that was the application tracking system, and she went into detail with it. If you need more information on how to set up application tracking systems, Shamim has talked about it before. And then we have talent management, which she has talked about extensively today. Being able to make sure we have 360 feedback. She said sometimes we don't want feedback, but feedback is key for us. We have training management, we have the KRAs and the goals for the year for the employee, and basically you can manage performance management. Then those are the four parts. Then the last one is employee engagement. The bots, the internal portals for the staff, the employee social wall. If you want all your employees like in one place, being able to have conversations with them, conversations with each other, and they're engaging. Now, I've been using another interesting tool, which was not really an HR tool, but I'm not sure where it belongs. It belongs to email and collaboration. So it is still in the same family, but the email and collaboration tool has a workplace where you're able to give employees tasks. Like if they are being directly managed, if I'm directly managing people, I'm able to give them tasks within the tool. And even if I have a drive with certain, let me say we're using a Google Drive, which is on cloud. We've put our trackers. If we want to just be not very digital, but we are using like Excel sheets online, then I can be able to tag an employee. They can be able to see, they can be able to make comments. I can look at their work in real time. And also the advantage of setting up such tools is that you're able to see when your employees have actually worked or not. If you look at those sheets, you can see someone last logged in at 10 a.m. Even if they tell you they finished their work, you can see someone logged in 1 week ago. So it's not the same as someone, please send me that Excel sheet. That's very different. These are real-time tools which are online, and you're able to actually monitor and manage employee engagement. If someone tells you, I am working, and you can clearly see the last entered your Google environment or online environment like a week ago or 3 weeks ago, then it changes everything. So Workplace has been interesting for me. I've been using it for the last 8 months. And I can, when you open the interfaces, I'm going to give you guys a sample, like I'm going to give you guys like trial links to be able to open them yourselves and actually try them in your ecosystem. If you need support, I'm able to help you to be able to understand maybe how to use the tool. And before you even say, let me use it for my work, you should be able to understand how they are working. So when you open the tool on Monday morning, an employee, she can see or he can see all the tasks that have been assigned to them. So as a manager, my job is to ensure that I have actually done my work. As long as I've done my work, the employee can be able to, but just opening their email, it's not even going to a certain special area, not going to a tracker. They can actually be able to see all the activities that are tagged to them. It has a section of clock in and clock out. I found that very fascinating. And and then there's a time I've worked a remote job, Like Shamim said, they also have their session every week. We used to have a session we call water cooler. So water cooler is it's part of the digital ecosystem where we can actually have a session where we actually take you through like the actual portals, but you can always find me online with Shamim to take you through. And you can actually switch on your camera the whole day as you're working, and your manager can be able to see you without really everyone can see. It's like we're in an office, so we are working together. We are remote employees, but we can actually have conversation. We can see each other on video as if we are seated in one place. When I'm taking like a break or a stretch, it allows me to change my status. I'm taking a stretch. I am going to the water cooler or different things I'm doing. Then I can say I'm back. I clock back in and clock in the whole day, depending on how you want. So, like Shamim said, the world is going into hybrid, apart from certain industries where it's going to be impossible to go into that kind of world where it is going to be but still the same. Some employees will work remotely for some functionality as we get more and more digital. So as HR people, as people who are managing people, it is possible to actually understand and get to a point of comfort that our employees are actually doing what they need to do when they need to do it. If we employ the right tool and get the right support from HR. So thank you so much from everyone who has come here. If you are in HR and you're part of Girls for Girls and you're not in our HR group, please send me a message. Let me put my phone number on the group so that we add you. The goal is to be able to get you as much support if you're an HR person to be able to be the best at your job. We have some of the best minds on that group. And today, Shamim is here, seeing Gloria. Gloria, I saw you earlier. Some of the best minds they are in HR in this country, and we shall be supporting you to also, from my side, me, I'm technology, to be able to adopt some of those tools to be able to help in your business. So yes, we are going to share the recording. Yes, we're going to be able to share it with you on email. Please just look out for your email by evening. It will be there. And I'll also send you the links of some of these tools that you can actually use. And thank you so much. Any questions? I have seen one about the recording. That one we shall give. Yes, Lydia, it's very important. We want to make sure that HR are very comfortable in terms of understanding, is my team productive or not? Is my team engaged or not? So the HR teams are going to, you as an HR person, you are able to put those things in place just now from a digital context and digital perspective. Thank you. Let me see. Thank you so much, Shamim, for coming for this session. And I also want to invite other people in, if you have a specialty in a certain area, and especially the HR people who are into consulting, please find me. I would like to have sessions with you and also the wider G4G community so that we are able to find you what like an audience for what you're looking for. That would be something that we'll be looking to